YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage here, back in the legendary West Rome campaign. Okay, no, it's not the only one. There's other ones on YouTube, obviously. But hey, it feels good to call it that, I guess, because it is legendary. It's fun. How is it legendary? Well, we have this legend here, the big one himself, leading the big one, Mr. Sextus Perennis, who I attempted to name a city after and apparently screwed it up, because I forgot to do the little check mark like I've done several times before, but this should definitely, most certainly be Aquae Sextus. Oh yeah, I screwed it up again. Wow, I apparently really suck at this. I'm hitting the wrong check mark. Sextus, there we go. Now we can see why I was struggling to do that right. So yes, we're back, and we got good old Sextus here, leading a fire-ridden campaign against the Gauls, having recently burned their settlement to the ground. And some people were like, no, Heir, it had resources. I've never seen so many comments like, really? You all going to pitch in here and defend the Gauls? You say that it's my land, and it is my land, and I chose to burn my land. I will reclaim it. No, let me explain what my strategy is overall. I'm just being a dork right now, which is pretty typical for me. So let's take a look at the fertility. Fertility is not bad in these provinces. It's pretty decent. But it's going to be worse here than in a lot of places in my empire. And this has, a bigger border that I have to protect. I would have to take all of this and then try and protect this river. And I can do that. I mean, we can protect the river from the Huns, and we might. But the Huns are going to come. And the way I see it, I have a much easier border to protect. Right here, getting into Italy is like an absolute fortress, and I control the sea here. And then getting into Iberia would also be extremely difficult. And then I can use the Swabians as a buffer, assuming that they might join me against the Huns. We can use them as a buffer. But yeah, that's the idea. So I am going to go reconquer Britannia. I don't feel like the Huns are going to be any sort of threat to Britannia, but it is even in Britannia going to be difficult because the fertility here is pretty low, and we're going to have to deal with that. It's really not quite very good, and the fertility in this campaign, remember, I have a mod going, so it's going to go to its worst at -3. Right now I think it's at -1. It goes to -2 and then -3 at certain points, but then starts to go back down to normal. So this one, in my opinion, represents like kind of a neater climate shift event in the sense that it does not last forever, but eventually ends. So yeah, that Saxon fleet, of course, just wrecked my fleet, because you would think that I would have learned long ago to not to watch out for that very kind of thing. And that is a Saxon fleet, so the good thing about that is that it means the Saxons can't do anything else here. But look at this, the Swabians have already landed in Britannia, so I better get up there and take care of business, because I do actually wish to control Britannia. But I'm going to need Sextus here to help me get the job done. I'm going to go ahead and push north with him. I have this army that was back here fortified, just kind of doing a little bit of retraining. We can push up and support Sextus with it. No reason why not. So, good old Sextus, and in the comments, Sextus has renamed Appius Rollus here Crapius, which, just a loving, friendly name that Sextus has given him. And apparently I have a viewer that has named themselves after each of them, which is very flattering, and it's good to see that people are enjoying the characters in the campaign. So I'll do my best to animate them. In fact, Sextus woke up his men this morning to a rousing speech about how barbarians are nothing more than a bunch of pants defecators who do nothing but dream of marrying sheep. That's correct. Sextus is a very straightforward kind of guy in how he feels towards the Gauls. So yes, let's get back down to business. We have a ton of money to spend. We are still making good income. We are raising more armies, which is completely fine at this point. We might as well. I would like to get one put together to go down and help take care of Africa, because honestly the rebels over here are getting a little bit lively, and I can't say that I exactly appreciate the way that that's going. But yeah, we don't really have all the armies. I mean, we have quite a few armies, and I was thinking about going all the way up here and just completely wrecking the Marcomanns, but there's too much snow, and it's going to take too much time, and I'm just not particularly interested in that. So I'm going to bring these armies back We do have a fleet of Macedonians that's trying to drop in and wreck our party down here at Patchy Town. Otherwise, what used to be known as Tarentum, I'm guessing. But yeah, so or Brundisium, whatever it was called on here, I don't really remember. Yeah, they're kind of ruining our party. So let's go back into our provinces scroll since we have so much money. Again, I mean, and another reason. So people told me like, yeah, Air, you shouldn't have burned these provinces. It had gold, it had this, it had that. I don't really care because I'm just gonna conquer it later. Whatever the Swabians own, I will take back from them. Having a gold mine's not going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference whenever I've got this much income. And my income's very stable, and you can see that in these other provinces where I don't even have a gold mine, I'm making huge bank, and it's because of the fertility of the land. Yes, the land that I burned was fertile, at least some of it was down here. But again, you take a look at this province. We've got this desolate settlement and then the other one that I burned. Yes, we could own both of them, but the Swabi own the town center. Could I get a little more food out of it? Maybe a little more income? Maybe, but it gets hard to balance all the public order and everything else without enough building slots, and then it's just a bunch of time, and I have to keep it from rebelling. Now is just not the appropriate time to take it, and I'm not interested. If I could own this whole settlement, if the Swabi did not own Bertigala, yes, I would have recaptured those lands and felt like they were worth defending, but I do not feel like they're really worth defending at the moment, and so that's why I am basically abandoning them. This army, though, probably ought to go ahead and start marching towards Patchy Town. It doesn't look like they can really get there any faster on forced march, which seems kind of idiotic. But we'll get there nonetheless. So I'm going to take these guys and head down there. And we'll bring these other armies back down to Mediolanum. I usually end up saying that wrong, which is fantastic. In fact, I can just go ahead and bring this army back down there. This one... it's a little bit stranded, but it's also fortified. We can upgrade to Legio Comitatenses. I would like to see what the difference is in these units. So the attack actually goes up pretty considerably. I don't know why this would be the case, but the health goes down. Doesn't seem to make any sense why the health would go down. I mean, CA, please. Oh, no, the health goes up by 2. My bad. But this one, yeah, and I don't think health goes up by chevron. So, okay, the health only goes up by 2. That's not bad. That's not bad. The morale's a little better. Armor is the same, which, again, that one's a little disappointing to me. So they're kind of like a Legio with just slightly better attack. It's really nothing special, but hey, why would we not upgrade them at this point? And the answer is we wouldn't not upgrade them. We wouldn't not upgrade them. That makes sense, right? That's right. Don't question my English. It's perfect. Let's see here. We can also upgrade the Contari to Cataphracti. Or Cataphractari. So that will be good. Might as well. We can also get Scoli Gentiles and Equites Promodi. But we have to go through both of these. This one gives, Elite Ballistari, though, and we can also get Carnuti in Unores, or however you say that. Unores? Yeah, I can't say it correct, but I'm calling these Carnuti guys. And if they're better than Armigeri Defensores, I certainly want a piece of that action. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, even though I'm just like non-stop military research. But hey, we're all right. We'll survive. It'll be good. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to do this turn other than maybe potentially spend some money. I am going to upgrade all my provinces as much as I can, but there's some of them where I have upgrades that I'm kind of sitting on because what I look for in upgrading a province, just to explain it for maybe anybody who's not catching it, some people may just see, Air, you have a ton of food. I do. This is my overall food for the Empire, like in surplus, and that's good. This definitely helps things. But each province has its own food surplus right here. You can see it's positive 83. And if that food surplus goes into the negative, you get a 25% penalty to the income in that province, that is substantial. It's not insignificant. So that's why you're seeing me hesitant to upgrade some of the buildings in these settlements, because as I do, I lose more food. And as I lose that food, if I get too close to that level, we can put ourselves in the negative. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of holding off on certain areas here. But yeah, anyway, you can see that the squalor here in this particular area is not good, and that's why I was working on this sanitation chain here. We're still at -4 in this region, though, which is pretty craptacular. This one, though, gives me a lot of extra public order, and it does give me just a bit of extra sanitation, plus the influence from paganism, which is quite nice. This one also adds to it slowly, but does also eat food, but only 15 food between both these upgrades, so I feel like that'll be a fine addition to give Magna Graecia. Narbonensis is, of course, spiraling downward in terms of public order almost non-stop just because of all the raids, but I think it is finally ready to stabilize once I get this army up here. Good. It's at least at 0, and we have 4 turns till we finish the circus. The food should be quite stable in this province, even with the sheep pens at this point, because we have, this will knock out another 50 food, and then that one will knock out like 42. So, but we should have plenty. And then in terms of sanitation, we should also be set, so no concerns there. Let's just keep going down here. Carthagenesis. We're actually okay. I skipped a few. So Liguria, nothing I really need to do here right now, unless food. Yeah, food's not that plentiful that I want to push the upgrades on these small structures. So Narbonensis we looked at. Africa. So if we take a look at Africa here, we are at 80 when it comes to food. We have sheep flocks that can be upgraded, though the public order has been less than ideal in this province. But we could use the little bit of extra food from the sheep flocks and the public order from this sculpture of the divine. That is an extra 2 public order and a bit of sanitation. Let's go ahead and the sheep pens add, I think, 15 additional food each. So, I mean, 30 extra food's not going to hurt anything. Just go ahead and do it. So we'll make those upgrades in Africa. Let's go take a look at Venetia. Here, food is very plentiful. We just don't seem to be hurting for food. Plus, we have a potential fishing port that we can build up there. And it's probably, yeah, we have this olive press delivering a lot of extra food. What if we take this field and let's convert it to the sheep flock just to get a little bit of extra money rolling there. And that should be good for now. We have great public order here for the moment as well. We could upgrade the governor's estate. Does eat some food, but since we have plenty, let's do it. Let's see kind of where that ends in this province, and we'll kind of go from there, though I would say that we can probably afford to go upgrade to the Colonia there as well. Okay, we looked at Carthagenesis already, but I didn't make any changes. Food is good, but it's not great, because again, the fertility here could be better. So I think it's going to be worth our while to upgrade the wheat fields, assuming we can offset the public order. And that is the big question, is it not? So basically, this upgrade would cover one of the wheat fields and not use near all the food. So, I mean, that would make sense to probably go ahead and do a couple of those. And then in terms of what else could soak up the food, we could do these upgrades as well as that wheat field. Then everything should be nice and balanced there. We'll need to upgrade these eventually too. It's just that eats a lot more food. We can probably pull it off, but let's see what happens when those wheat fields are completed. And we'll check back. Galicia. Now, I want to say that this is a fairly fertile province. It is. So why do I not have wheat fields here? Why am I feeling the pinch on food? Probably because I've had to upgrade this theater in the governor's house quite a lot. And the public order here is not fantastic. It would really be helpful to get a religious building here once we get enough growth. We are certainly not to that point in growth. Let's get the fishing jetties. And I want to convert one of these wheat fields over to a sheep flock. Because again, that'll just bump my cash up a little bit. And I think we've done a pretty good job here on this turn. Let us see. So I do want to raise more armies, though I think I'll take care of that in Italy because that's where I'm going to have access to the best troops. And right now, this army is busy training. We've got our research set. I do think we are all set for a turn end, and in 10 turns, we get some cool new units, the Scoli Gentiles, which is a nice shock cavalry, and then we should also get our hands on the improved Carnuti yeah, whatever those guys were. The Carnutes. There's a Saxon fleet that is looking like they want to attack the Maurians, but they had a transport fleet that kind of took off back towards Britannia. What all do you want to see happen in this campaign? Give me some ideas. I mean, I have ideas in my mind. I just want to make my settlements very strong, and I want to hold just key provinces and make sure that they're very defensible so that I can defend myself against the Huns and potentially a lot of other enemies. So that's my number one concern right now. And really just kind of wanting to keep an eye on all that.
Will end badly and with little honor for
The
anyone.
Quadians will not get a peace treaty. I have sworn vengeance against them, and vengeance will be mine. The Marcomanns, on the other hand, if they want to make me a kind offer, I would consider their plight. And it looks like we might as well get ready to just move through Africa because the Ghassanids and others have taken over Egypt, and it would be good lands. Egypt's are good, solid lands to take. Yep, Macedonians have landed outside Patchytown, apparently not having learned their lesson last time. And of course my navy was not present to take care of them when it should be, which, how typical. How typical. I think we have another rebellion outside Argenturtum. Let's see, this guy. I don't want to give up influence on Flavius Honorius Augustus. Come on. Office appointed. Yeah, just do nothing. I don't really care. I really don't. The Swabians retreated from Britannia, which I kind of like. Or no, they actually came up here and took a settlement. We better get up there and take care of business because, I mean, I am going to eventually take everything from the Swabi, but I would like to actually own Britannia now, and I'm a little bit irritated, to be honest, that the Swabi already have a settlement. I'm going to come up here and encircle the settlement.
None will escape, laying siege to the
and let's get over here and come up and reinforce.
Make haste, men. Ready for further orders. None will escape.
It's still like giving them the same chances. They really should have no chances. But hey, it's all good. Let's go ahead and auto resolve. And we'll do an aggressive one because I just have such an advantage. Yeah, no real casualties there, so to speak. And settlement has recently been plundered. To do so again would yield scarcer riches. Am I supposed to care if it's scarce? I mean, it's red. Am I going to actually like lose money for sacking it? I don't think so. So we're going to sack the Saxons for the glory of the Empire. And then we're going to raise yet another settlement to the ground. So Sextus the Terrorizer, Sextus the Master of Flames, the Burner of Barbarian Scum. Scummery, I would say. Ooh, +6 morale versus Barbarian Kingdoms. I think we'll throw that on too while we're at it. So the big one now fears no barbarian in combat. This is good. I like this. So yeah, now we can try and cross over to Britannia. The Swabians are there with their faction leader. It's kind of funny that how they did very little to counter the Saxons until I actually moved over here, and then all of a sudden they're interested in doing something about the Saxons. How amazingly and terribly convenient all at once, isn't it? So yes it is. This army can go ahead and move back down into my lands. I am unconcerned with Roman separatists and the like. This army will need to counter our enemies outside Patchytown, and I'm just going to march straight at them. Money is extremely good right now. I have this army and another that could potentially go to Africa and help. I would really actually, not that these lands are particularly valuable, but the Garamantians are untrustworthy. The African rebels are acting untrustworthy. I'm just going to take their lands. I don't think the lands at Leptis aren't that bad, if I remember right. They could be pretty decent land. Let's just check some of these other settlements. We are actually turning some decent public order here right now, probably due to the addition of this sculpture of the Divine. And Let's see. This does not eat any additional food. Gives, you know, good sanitation and public order boost. The food is just hanging on here at this point. But if we go ahead and upgrade this, this will give us a pretty decent chunk of additional food, and I think we can probably eat the addition of the fishing jetty, so that maybe I can upgrade to the theater here and go ahead and haul that money home. That would be pretty nice. I mean, we got to spend this money, and I'd like to look into potentially upgrading the town center there as well, but sanitation a bit of a problem here. Not much of a problem. It's only -1 there, so not going to cause any huge issues for me. I think it does slow down growth a little bit, but if that's the worst it does, it should be fairly tolerable. Just trying to see if there is anything else we wish to handle, because we certainly have the money for it. Let's go back into our province scroll once again. Let's just see. Narbonensis is improving. This is the only province I have that is struggling. Okay, and this is the one where I had some work to be done too. Food is quite plentiful. We are not worried about it at the moment. This is where we're going to build up the auditorium, then to circus. And if we need more food, we've got all these jetties that could potentially be turned into fishing jetties. And, you know, I may do that, because you get the extra money off of it too. And then with the extra food from the jetties, I could actually switch these wheat fields over to sheep flocks and just overall make more money and probably still maintain the food that I need. And I would hope balance the public order, but let's just try to balance the public order first. Let's go down that road, and then we'll worry about updating everything else. So yeah, let's chase it down that route. Okay, let's see again. Where else are we struggling with public order? It is stable yet somewhat ugly here in Lusitania. We are very borderline, but I think with the completion of these, we're only at +40, but if I get the fishing jetty, it's going to actually add a public order penalty. But then the fishing thing would give me the food to help cover this upgrade, which would be well worth it. So let us do that and see what happens. So might as well spend that money and put it somewhere. And then this is my last one, Argentor Tomb. I am upgrading the city center there, and I've thought about upgrading this, but it doesn't actually. Yeah, it does give me. It gives me additional garrison. I would have 6 Legio Comita Tenses. Yeah, that's not a bad garrison. Yeah, why not? Just go to town. Argentor Tomb deserves it. They've been the bastion of the Empire here, and might as well reward its people. Reward them for their faithfulness in the service of Patchy. Let's go ahead and end this turn. It's going to remind me that enemies were killed in battle, which, hey, you know, I appreciate the reminder. It's very polite of you. My fleet is back in port. We will need to start retraining that fleet as soon as possible. Let's just kind of see what the enemies of the world are up to here. The Saxons looking for peace. How terribly convenient. And my answer is no. As you might expect. Yes, good. They hurt the Swabians there. Go take their province so I can get it.
You fear us. It is in
the
your
Langobards
eyes,
want a
in
piece
your
of me.
stench, and you are right to fear. War comes.
My stench. Are you like standing next to me sniffing me? Because that's a little bit weird there, Mr. Langobard. If indeed that is your real name. Yeah, I fear no Langobards here. That's unconcerning to me whatsoever. Sextus is unconcerned, and he is going to continue to Britannia and take care of the Saxon business at hand. Like I said, completely undeterred from the threats of the Langobards. More like the Langotards. Oh! Ooh! Air showed you. Air showed you. He didn't really, but he's acting like it. Oh, if it isn't the Quadians, so politely marching themselves to my doorstep so that I can kick the crap out of them without traveling. I do appreciate the opportunity, and I'm probably going to take advantage of it. When I say probably, I mean pretty much. Whoa, those guys all of a sudden have an army that needs to be killed. They must have levied up a bunch of troops.
Worthy of benefiting from our prosperity.
So again, all of a sudden, Macedonia wants a peace treaty. I thought we made a peace treaty with Dacia too. Let's see. Macedonia, Illyria. Who owns this? The Gepids. Dacia. So we did make peace with Dacia, and they're now very friendly with me, actually. I do want to take their lands, but let's just sit here and think about this for a minute. Is now the right time to invade in Greece? Probably not. Not when there's so much work to be done up here and in Britannia and in Africa. Maybe we should make nice with these people. Let's counter their offer with more money for me. Well, these guys are pretty cheap, apparently. They don't value their peace that much, so it would seem. Let's see about 800. No, you're still cheaper than that. Fine, but I want the most that I can get out of you. How about 700? Wow, you just really 600's the number, huh? We've decided that the peace of our citizens is 600 golds and not one talent more. Okay, there we go. Now, I could have potentially gotten more out of them. I was just trying to make sure that we didn't throw the deal there. Let's see if we can open trade with the Macedonians. That would enrich us a lot and be worth it. No battles yet either. This is, well, I mean, there has been, but none that were worth fighting in person that I noticed. Okay, let's go take a look at a few things. So the Macedonians are going to sail away peacefully. Quite smart of them to make peace with me right there at that moment. I mean, right before I was going to send them all to Hades. Public order. Navy recruitment capacity, but that's for a governed province. That won't do me much good. Just crank that up. So this fleet is going to be fairly capable. No major threats here at the moment. Let's go into diplomacy and talk to our potential new friends, the Macedonians. The Dacians I don't believe I can trade with, or they just weren't willing to. I can trade with them.
We offer you honest welcome.
They just weren't
Speak,
interested.
Friend, and hopefully
Yeah, I
later we
mean,
will
I have
drink
things
to
that they
seal
need.
our
I have
agreement.
olive oil. I have salt. I have lead or iron. I mean, you would think they're interested in these things, but apparently they are not. They have no need of them whatsoever. Let's see here. The AI's attitude towards trading on this
Today's
game is
greetings
just
to you.
bizarre.
Speak, for you have my
Like
attention,
again,
the
look
ear
here,
of the
salt,
honest people.
wine, marble. No, we're not interested. We're good. Okay. Whatever. You don't like salt on your food? Don't get salty with me about it then. Ooh, more lame puns. What about the Geats?
Do not attempt to sweeten truth with honey.
I'll sweeten your face with honey, piece of crap. I don't even know what that means. I'm just insulting you with whatever the first thing that was came across my mouth. That's kind of gross sounding, actually. I hate you.
You are welcome. Although my ancestors
I don't
and
remember
people
declaring war
expect
there. That was
talk
some
with
kind of misclick.
purpose
Yeah,
and
no one
honesty.
wants to trade with me. Is there some reason why no one wants to trade with me? I mean, we're trustworthy. Yeah, we're a little intimidating. And we're number 1 in the strength ranking. Oh, yeah. Mr. number 42. You would think that you might have some interest. But no, I guess being 42nd makes you feel pretty confident about your position in the ancient world. Yeah, hey guys, don't worry. We're number 42. Yeah, we're number 42. That's right. 42 and proud. Well, my guys were trying to apparently march completely around to get down to Syracuse. But hey, we'll get there. Albeit a turn later at this point. Okay, let's get this army. These Roxolanians are raiding in my territory. Apache does not much appreciate this type of behavior, and although we have previously made peace, I am going to declare war and kill you. You will not raid in my lands. It now makes me untrustworthy because of this, but you will not raid in my lands. Sorry. Not gonna happen. Now they're gonna try and run away from me and get away. in order to do as much damage. But we can catch them, actually, so this is good. And we'll get a battle in on this episode. If you're raiding in my lands, you probably ought to be ready to defend your actions, which you are, of course, not ready to defend. Let's go ahead and fight this and destroy us. Some Roxolanians who, you know, I'm kind enough to make peace with you, you know, which, again, why do you deserve it? You are terribly weak. You don't have anything to offer me in return other than just one pest off of my plate for the moment. And we have to start raiding in my lands. Makes a lot of sense. These guys, yeah, the sacrificers, I mean, if they change their name to the Sacrifices, then I would agree with their army name here and think that it was rather appropriate. Wow, this is one giant hill they're going to get to camp. Well, whatever, it's not going to save them. They pretty much had crap troops. Thinking about kind of just running these Matiari on the flank is kind of like a somewhat self-sufficient force. Back them up with some heavy cavalry. And then we can put my Maori and Equites up here because they have plenty of javelins. And let's support the Maori and Equites with some spears because they're not as heavy in combat. Really need to get the Comes General upgrade too. It makes your general so much more dangerous if needed in combat towards at least sword infantry. And I mean, honestly, a heavy melee cavalry like that charging spear infantry is still somewhat effective as well. Let's go ahead and move up. I'm going to fast forward a bit, get us into position for taking them out.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Got our reinforcements. Not that I needed them terribly bad, but hey, it's reinforcements. It's kind of its own little self-sustaining unit here too. I'll just get these guys all set up in a nice pretty little formation. Alright, so we got those guys all set up. We can basically get in behind the enemy and in front of them. Alright, gonna just keep the fast forward on. Select all troops and run so that we don't have to wait as long. Let's pull these guys up as well, at least a little closer. I wonder how the AI is going to handle this. They don't tend to react too well whenever you're outflanking them. Just a little bit outside of archer range here. And if this army gets attacked downhill, it'll actually be in kind of a pinch. But, I mean, it's just a garrison army, so it's not like I'm wildly crazy about it. Though there is a governor present, and I would prefer him to not be killed in combat. Not unless there was some good reason for it. Okay, I'm going to run forward with all my troops here. Kind of try and pin the enemy between the old rock and a hard place, so to speak. Yeah, the AI is not really sure where to go at this point.
We're being ambushed! Oh, damn! Our ambush troops have been detected.
Okay, I'm going to move my Armageri forward in a shield wall to try and fix the enemy. And I'm going to try and start pulling my Matiari up on the flank. Pull these spears up over here. I just want to completely trap the enemy forces. And I think that we pretty much got it here. We've kind of got like a reverse noob box going on these guys. Let's go ahead and move these troops up. Archers, flaming, fire at will. I'm going to put that ability on auto use. Okay, I'm being charged by an enemy lancer. I'm just gonna stand my ground with the Mattiari, because I think my other units will actually wipe them out. I'm gonna pull my Gallic Equites back. Actually, yeah, the javelins there are gonna wipe those guys out. So yeah. We've now got the enemy completely surrounded. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up here. Push the Mattiari forward a little. Push the Gallic Equites up right behind them. Gallic Equites here. My archers are behind with flaming shot. And the pikes are going to have little effect on my Armageri if we get into combat. I like how the enemy is completely pinned here. I'm going to actually fall back with the Mattiari here, though I could probably defeat those spears if I surrounded them. In fact, let's just go ahead and engage. The Mattiari can hold their ground well enough there. Yeah, the axes are attacking me here, and that might be a bit of a problem because it's a warlord and the axe warband, so I'd kind of like to hit them with the rear charge. Let's take care of a couple things real quick. Number one, let's take these guys out of shield wall and make our attack there. Let's take care of them. I'm going to start swinging this cavalry in and around here. Let's go pin these spears. Send some more cav up. I want to try and bail out this Armageri there that's in a little bit of trouble. I think that Steppes tribe people is going to get wrecked. This spear unit's about to get wrecked, and the Mattiari is actually holding its own there fairly well. Let's watch this wreckage as my heavy Gallic Equites, even being charging uphill, ought to get an absolutely devastating rear charge here into the enemy axe warband and other units. It should be decisive. I don't see many units survive a heavy cavalry rear charge in Total War Attila, no matter what the difficulty setting is. Guess we could actually move up our Legio, who are just standing back here rather stoically. Okay, that general charged one of my Mattiari, which she'll do some damage there. I'm going to just go ahead and start hitting it with javelins from the other Mattiari, and he should die momentarily. Down to 2 men.
The enemy general is fallen.
Let's bring up the Legio Comitatenses. Yeah, we've pretty much just been kind of toying with the enemy here, which is fine. I'm kind of having fun with them. Let's use our Mattiari to see if we can destroy what's left of that pike unit. Let's go ahead and attack this pike unit, the Armageri, because that'll force them to turn. They're going to rout. So, yep, there we go. Wiped out the enemies. So I suppose that the Roxolanians have learned not to raid me. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will see you back on the next one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.